Hello people, welcome back to vlogging, because it's cheaper than a shrink. Television. What a career. Flash parties, free drinks, cool trips, famous friends, bags of money, loads of Instagram followers, potential sexual encounters with washed up reality TV stars. What's not to love about that?
Well, it was so simple.
Been looking for an excuse to use that clip for about 3 years. Anyway, as someone who's forged a career out of working on the Idiot Box, the 3 questions I get asked the most are 1, what's it like? 2, how do you get in? And 3, how do we get in? Well, if you're one of those people wondering, I hope you're sitting comfortably because this one is for you. Now, we've all seen those motivational videos put up there by incredibly successful people. You know, the ones offering the keys to prosperity in like 5 handy bullet points. Well, this isn't that. I've always thought they were a little bit like a billionaire tech mogul coming into your second-hand carpet store and saying, you can emulate me if only you show the desire. Well, with all due respect, that's bollocks. You also need the knack, the opportunity, the intelligence, resilience, the right contacts, the right timing, a hell of a lot of good fortune, and in that case, probably a computer. No, this is more like if you're considering cheating on your partner with someone, but first having to watch your new lover take a dump through an open door. An honest, no-holds-barred glimpse into your potential future on the telly. And you're very welcome. So who am I to tell you about all of this lot then? Well, I've been working in TV for about 9 or 10 years, in which time I've worked as a runner, researcher, a producer of local TV and digital content, lifestyle, educational content. I've been a broadcast journalist, a radio presenter, live events host, and a TV presenter. I've worked with the likes of ITV2 and the BBC and Sky Sports and DAZN and Gold and Nickelodeon, Channel 5 and a bunch of different brands and stuff. But essentially you can look at me as a sort of lower middle end of the TV spectrum. If I was a football manager, I'd be Tony Pulis. Like, could do a job, but no one's rolling out the red carpet. And as such, this is less of a Star is Born story and more a pursuit of happiness in television. Watch those movies first, maybe. Now this video is about my experience as a TV presenter only. And of course you'll hear different stories from different people. There's no one size fits all to getting a break in TV. Unless you're related to someone famous, or you're dating someone famous, or you get on Love Island. They're all pretty watertight at the moment, but generally not. So first off, what's it like to be a TV presenter? Well, it can be amazing. Over the years, I've been able to present live shows in studios full of screaming people, to travel to far-flung places around the globe, see things I never dreamt of seeing, meet people I never thought I'd meet. I got to chat to movie stars like Robert De Niro, Ricky Gervais and The Rock, get covered in gunge live on TV, compare Premier League match notes with John Motson, have penalty shootouts against Champions League winners, dress up as a dinner lady and crack jokes with a puppet dog. Yes, people, it has its moments. I'm not bragging, but I do have more than one Blue Peter badge. But at the same time, badges on the table, I also have no savings, no mortgage, no pension, nothing that resembles job security or even a sustainable future. I'll level with you, being a TV presenter is a bit like working in a brothel. It's a fast-paced, unforgiving, ever-changing environment with a lot of competition. Your pimp/agent will always need their 15-20%. You usually do better the more flesh you're willing to show, but ultimately, everyone gets I should bleep that out. I'll bleep that out. Generally, presenters are pretty aware of the situation and would class it as vocational to an extent. Something we love so much, we do it for the experiences rather than the security. With most of us secretly praying some life-changing break will catapult us to greater successes. That's happened with a few of my mates on Strictly over the years, then they've smashed it out of the park. Hashtag vote Karim, he's honestly the nicest man in the world. You do get a lot of people who just desperately want to be famous, but more often than not, they burn out pretty quick. There's only so many reality TV shows you can get on, and you usually have to be abnormally attractive. Presenting's also a bit like the British weather, in a way that you've got no control over it, and it's often a bit shit. You see, it's an industry heavily moulded and influenced by new trends, new movements, and technology, and changes can happen so quickly, you can be left behind in a second. And unlike working for a big company, there'd be no severance package or commemorative plate, just tumbleweed. And there's so much waiting around in TV, you probably won't realise it's the end until you've not worked for 2 years and you're eating cold beans out of a tin. But what advice can I give people who still want to go for it, who still want to be a TV presenter, who still want to reach for the stars, climb every mountain high and reach for the stars, follow your heart's desire, reach for the stars, etc. Well, number 1, don't try and be one. At least not directly. Don't make that your main aim. As much as I hate to say it, be an influencer or a DJ or both. You could be a journalist, a producer, or one of the many other important roles in the TV world. I know great presenters who are doctors, vets, chefs, floor managers, the list goes on. But having a trained profession, that can make you way more valuable and give your life far more grounding than just being an attention seeker. There's always auditions and schemes and programs you can get involved with after that by applying online or going to TV events and festivals and just meeting the right people. Like I'm doing now, you have the ability to make your own content at home, which is often enough to show the right people what you can do. The worst thing you can do in TV is rely on TV. Years ago, I ended up on Job Seekers and Housing Benefit because a small show I was working on got pulled and I had no way of paying my rent or feeding myself. These years later, I still struggle when projects disappear. I dip into journalism a lot, but that's another competitive environment as a freelancer too. There's never any safety net. You gotta lift yourself up because unless the bank of mum and dad are willing to do it, no one else will. Number 2, have a thick skin. 99% of this business is rejection. If you're not being rejected to your face, you're being rejected behind closed doors and then pretty much just ignored. You'll be ghosted more times in this industry than Tinder ever did to you. You'll have meetings with people who tell you this, that and the other, and then you will never hear from those people ever again. That's just the way it is. You'll be judged for the way you look, the way you talk, the way you dress, the people you know, and yes, even the colour of your skin, before anyone cares about what you have to say, or what you've done, or how good you are. You can't take it personally either. Most of the time it's about audience reach or fitting a profile. The rest is smoke and mirrors. Sometimes you'll benefit from it, sometimes you won't. I probably wouldn't have a career at all if I didn't have a northern accent. Of course, this type of stuff leads to presenters trying to become the thing they think people want. More edgy, more cool, more urban, more controversial, more flamboyant, whatever it might be, with some success. Look at Katie Hopkins. Actually, don't look at Katie Hopkins. This sounds a bit lame, but my advice would be to be yourself. It's not what people want now, screw them. Maybe it's what they want in 5 years, maybe it won't. Nothing's worth losing your own identity over, unless your current identity is a knob. And number 3, focus on digital and not TV. Television is dying, at least in the traditional linear sense. Streaming services have completely revolutionised the way we engage with content. In the same way that a lot of people that voted Brexit will be dead in 20 years, so too will a lot of the people that sit down at a particular time on a particular night to watch a show. Unless it's a live event like the World Cup or a singing competition, or when global warming finally causes the polar ice caps to melt and we get to watch ourselves drown on the news. To counter this, TV's borrowing more and more from existing digital platforms like YouTube and TikTok and Instagram in an attempt to appeal to younger audiences, which sort of means the death of the traditional TV personality. Right now you have a huge advantage in television if you have a large online following, but in the future that'll be a prerequisite. If you're not a name on the internet, you won't exist. And to do a job like mine, you'll have to accept living by those terms for better or worse. Finally, be prepared to sell. The relationship between brands, sponsors, advertisers and content is now so tightly intertwined that people in TV are no longer simply the face of a brand or the person that explains it to you. They're a branch of the advertising themselves. That's why you'll see guys on This Morning posting hashtag pictures of what they're wearing on the show. It's all part of the machine that maximizes revenues for them or the program. I know people who work on big TV dramas who hire actors on the back of their Instagram followings because it means more advertising for the show. To do this job in the future will mean plugging everything. The clothes you wear, the places you go, every product you use, every aspect of the content you make. We're kind of getting used to this in the current climate, but whilst people in the public eye often have the choice of what they flog now, depending on how much they actually endorse it or how much they're getting paid, in the future it will be expected of them to do the job in the first place. Like you're doing this TV series, but you have to put out 7 tweets a week and 3 Instagram posts relating to it by contract. A pretty first world problem, perhaps, but it will mean the diluting of original, unvetted thoughts and make it very difficult as an audience to work out what's a person and what's a brand. So, there you have it. That's probably the best advice I can give about being a TV presenter. I hope it wasn't too horribly off-putting. You might be sat there wondering why I still bother to do it, considering I hold so much antipathy or trepidation towards the industry I work in. Well, in truth, because it's worth it. To me it is anyway. Through the struggles and the false dawns and the letdowns, the crippling tax bills, the self-doubt, rejection and jealousy, it doesn't matter. Because ultimately, it beats the thought of doing anything else. And I'll be here until I can't pay my rent and my cold tin of beans runs out. But in the meantime, I do wish you budding presenters all the very best of good fortune, and I look forward to presenting you all for stealing my jobs. In a bit.